Welcome to the Militia Gaming Community. I'm Trigger and I'm back with another wrong build video, this time the 2008 Nissan 350Z. Let's go! Alright, many of you have probably seen my wrong build series. It's the longest running video series on my channel, but if you're new, I actually want to just give you a quick breakdown on what I do for the wrong build series. So I call it the wrong build series because I'm just using that "you're using the wrong build" title as a way to draw viewers in. Honest, it's a YouTube trick, but it worked, and now that's the title of the series. So just a little bit of honesty there at the front of the video. As far as the testing goes, what I do is I build this car with every single engine with the highest tier parts available. I test the gearboxes, I test the tires, I test the turbos, I test everything that you need in order to figure out what the best build is for 4 different disciplines: track, drag, drift, and off-road. So I'll give you 4 separate builds. Oftentimes, in fact most of the time, the engine is the same for all 4 builds, but you have to tweak a few parts here and there in order to make the car faster, either off-road or better at drifting, or faster in a drag race scenario. So let's get into it. The first thing I want to give you is the engine. This is the most important part of any build in this game. The engine is what you want to figure out first. You need to figure out which engine is the fastest on the track, and then oftentimes that is the fastest engine for drag and off-road as well. In this case, it is. I tested these engines extensively, and what I found was the 646 horsepower 3.5 liter V6 is the fastest engine for the car. Now, let's go ahead and just get into the track build, because I went over this over and over and over again. I tested all the gearboxes, all the tires, like I said, all the boost options as well. So let's throw up the build card for the track build and I'll show you what I'm working with. So again, we've got that 3.5 liter V6, Ultimate Plus engine parts, the Ultimate Dual Turbo, Ultimate 5x3 pound NOS, Super Track suspension, Elite brakes, Elite race tires, Elite Plus clutch, Elite 7-speed gearbox, and the Super Track differential. For the auxiliaries, I use refills and nitrous duration. I've driven around the 350Z, the 370Z, the limited edition ones, and they all have one common problem, and that is that their turn radius is not very sharp. What this does for the car whenever you're in a race is that when you're at high speed, you can't make a sharp turn without slowing down significantly. So this really hurts the car's track times, although it is a very fast top speed car. So in races like Sonic, for example, there's a lot of top speed straight sections. If you can manage to navigate the turns well, you can actually perform well in the races like that. But I just don't think this car is on par with the rest of the really fast cars in the game. It has speed, but it can't really turn that well. So it takes a little bit of finesse and a lot of skill to make this thing turn well, and even then, it's just not good enough. It doesn't come out of the turns fast enough because you have to slow down so much to make the thing turn. Now, because of that, you have to set this up with a certain live tuning. Now, there are different ways to increase your turning radius, but it doesn't really affect the car like you want it to. It just minorly affects the turning radius. So here's what I've got. So the live tuning, I left the steering sensitivity at the middle, which is just a 0 or default, if you want to say it that way. The downforce, I've got it all the way down. I want that rear end to be as slidey as possible so that the second I enter a turn, it slides right when I want it to. Traction control off and drift style on gas. Now, there are other ways to fix this. You could actually turn up your steering sensitivity and move your downforce up as well, but the ratio of steering sensitivity to downforce needs to be right around 5. So in this case, downforce is -5, steering sensitivity 1. If you move the steering sensitivity up, I would move the downforce up as well. This is something you can play with to be comfortable, but I recommend middle on the steering sensitivity or default, and then -5 on downforce. This is just what's really comfortable to me, but feel free to play with that. All right, let's go ahead and show you what the fastest drag build is. So there's a couple of things that you want to change to make the car into a drag build. One is the NOS tank. You definitely want to have the 1x15, and then the other is the tires. Now this is only if you're coming from a track build. If you just built it for drift, you're going to want to change a few other things. But the drag tires, the 1x15 pound NOS, and then you can play around with the gearboxes to see which one gives you the best quarter mile. You also can play with the boost options to see which one gives you the best quarter mile as well. But if you look, we'll look at these options here. None of these give you a better 0 to 60, which means it's not going to equate to a better quarter mile. But you can look at these anyway. If you look at the 0 to 60, it's still in the pink, which means it's a worse time. If it were blue, like you see on the current horsepower, the turbocharger, the single turbo, gives you the full potential on the horsepower, and it gives you 1 extra mile per hour in top speed, but it does not help your quarter mile, so you want to stay away from that. Generally, the dual turbo is the best option for pretty much every build. Now, let's look at the gearboxes. So right now I have this 7-speed in here. It gives me an 8.93 quarter mile with this current live tuning setup. And this is actually the live tuning I'm going to keep on my drag build. You really just want the downforce all the way down. So 8.93 with the 7-speed. Let's drop the 6-speed in there just to see if it does change anything. 8.93 with the 6-speed as well. Let's see what the 5-speed does. The 5-speed puts it at 9.10, so obviously slower. So we're going to stick with the 7-speed gearbox. That's the gearbox I chose for the track build. And when you're drag racing your friends, you don't want to be switching a bunch of parts. We'll keep it to a minimum. So we're going to keep the 7-speed in there. Go ahead and throw up the drag build card, and I'll show you the full build. All right, we've got that same 3.5 liter V6 with the Ultimate Plus engine parts, the Ultimate dual turbo, and the 1x15 pound NOS. I've got Super Track suspension, Elite brakes, and Elite drag tires, Elite Plus clutch, Elite 7-speed gearbox, and the Super Track differential. Auxiliaries are refills and NOS duration. And again, live tuning is going to be the same as your track build. Steering sensitivity at 0, downforce -5, traction control off, and drift style on gas. Let's go ahead and swap this thing into a drift car. There's a couple of changes I'm going to need to make, and then we're going to test it because I'm not 100% sure on which way I want to go with this. But let's get into the garage. So being that this is a rear-wheel drive car, we're going to start with the rear-wheel drive drift setup, which we need the Super Speed Cross suspension. We're going to leave the drag tires on there, and then we're going to change the differential to the Pro Drift differential. This is the rear-wheel drive drift setup. Usually this feels the best, but we may need to make a change either to the gearbox, the differential, tires, or possibly the suspension. But we're gonna start here and we're gonna see how this feels. All right, here we go. See if we can maintain. Actually, not bad at all. That feels pretty good. Wow, this feels really nice, dude. So easy to transition. And then once you transition to keep the wheels turning, it's just amazing, dude. That feels great. 87, dude, no way. Oh my God, that's so close. 89's my best on that track. That is ridiculous. 87 is so good. It feels, I'm telling you, it feels amazing. This drift setup, it just feels so good. We're gonna try this again. We gotta try to go for the record. Oh, this car drifts amazingly, dude. It feels so good. Oh, I went really wide. Yeah, that was my mistake. Look, I'm at 68 though. I wonder if I can finish this. I wonder if I can finish this, even though I'm only at 1 multiplier. There we go. Let's see if we can finish this. Checkpoint missed. Dude, 86. And that was a terrible option. I bet you if I'd sat here and tried long enough, we could definitely get that high score. But we're not going to do that because we're doing a video right now. That was insane. This car is really good for drifting. I did not put this in my top 5 drift video, but this thing deserves a shot at the top 5. It is possibly like 6. It is really really good. And let's just throw up the drift build card right now. We're not going to do any montage at this point because I did enough testing and this video is going to run on forever. But let's just throw up the build card right now because this thing is great. All right, we got that 3.5 liter V6 engine, Ultimate Plus engine parts, the Ultimate Dual Turbo, and the 5x3 pound NOS. We've got the Super Speed Cross suspension, Elite brakes, and Elite drag tires, Elite Plus clutch, Elite 7-speed gearbox, and the Pro Drift differential. Auxiliaries are refills and NOS duration, but you don't really need those when you're drifting. At least I don't use them. The live tuning for this drift build is steering sensitivity +5, downforce -5, traction off, drift style on, gas. This is an excellent drift car, top tier drift car for sure. I would say it competes well with the top 5 drift cars in the game. Very, very fun, very easy to use. Let's go make it off-road. Let's take it to HTV2 and Rumble and let's test it, see how it does in the dirt. All right, just a couple of quick things we want to change for the dirt. We need rally suspension, we need off-road tires, and we need rally differential. And we're going to keep the same engine. Like I said, that is the fastest engine for the car. It's going to perform the best. So here we go, off-road tires. Let's swap to the rally differential. Everything else can stay the same. We might need to change the live tuning possibly a little bit on this, but we won't really know until we get off-road. So let's take it out. We're gonna leave it just like this. We might actually even just raise it up, dude, for some beef. Let's get some beef going. Boom. Honestly though, I mean, it doesn't even look that raised. This is full suspension, fully raised up. Oh my goodness. There's not that much wheel gap. If I had this much wheel gap on my real life car, I'd be very happy. All right, let's go. All right, if we can get a time in the low 150s, I will be excited. Let's see what we can do here. Very, very slow start. It spins wheels. Oh, barely couldn't even pass that dude on the first turn. It is a very slow starting car, but let's see what happens. Actually feels decent to handbrake turn. It's not too bad. Slides very, very well, as it did when we were drifting it. All right. Oh, it's got some speed on the dirt, dude. Oh my goodness, what? What just happened? I don't think I've ever had a car do that. That's just so weird, dude. Come on, Need for Speed. Get out of the way, dude. Bro, this car is so slow starting. But it feels good elsewhere. There we go. Yeah, it feels fast. It feels very fast, but it just jumps, dude, for no reason. Stop jumping. I raised your suspension all the way up, car. You should not be jumping. Don't you dare jump. Gotta stay to the right. Ah, come on. Dude, these jumps, I cannot deal with this. It's gonna make testing this car on this course absolutely impossible if it just keeps jumping like that. That's gonna have to be part of its story, is that it clips like crazy on the end of that straightaway. We're going inside Kylie. We're just gonna bump Kylie out of the way. That is definitely part of this car's story. I could run that. I'm so frustrated right now. I could run this with 2 seconds faster if it didn't have any jumping like that, any clipping on the ground. That is insane, the amount of clipping it does. But we're writing this time down because this is part of this car's story here on off-road. 1:53:48. We're writing it down. All right, we wrote it down. We're going to Rumble. I'm not doing that. I could maximize that time, but I'd have to find every single little spot where it clips and then avoid that 100%. And it's not possible. I even raised up the suspension. Look at the wheel gap, dude. Like, come on. Also, why is the wheel gap so much bigger than it was in the garage? Did I not have the car on? Because maybe with the, I think that's what it was. With the airbags, you can drop that car, but as soon as you turn it on, it lifts up. I'm a dummy. I'm stupid. All right, rumble test. Let's get serious. Come on. Slow starter. Let's get in front of this guy. Is quite quick on the dirt, dude. It's got good top speed. I think it'll put up a decent time here. I don't know how good, but I think it's going to be pretty good. I think it'll be all right. These tighter turns are a little bit of a nightmare, but not too bad, not too bad. Please don't clip here, please. Oh, a little bit. Oh, a lot of it. Let's get moving. Let's get moving. Oh, man. Again, this thing is just quick, dude. It's so fast in a straight line off-road. It doesn't turn super well, and it does clip a lot, but it feels really good in a straight line. Oh, my God. What are these guys doing, bro? Taking out barriers? You guys are nuts. I gotta try to go inside on these guys. Oh, checkpoint break. This feels like a pretty good time. We're gonna be able to lap second. I haven't done that in a few wrong builds. The last few off-road cars I've tested have been absolutely horrible. I need to get inside him, though. There we go. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, with the old switcheroo, we got it. Oh, please don't jump on this last section. There we go. All right. Not as good a time as I thought. 3:17. Man, I wish that was faster. I want this thing to be faster. 3:17:13. Let's write it down. All right, that gives it a combined time of 5:10. 5:10, just so you guys know, is about middle of the pack. Middle of the pack. This car struggles in the turns, and it's apparent all the way from its track build all the way through its off-road build. Let's throw up the off-road build card, though, because this does feel the fastest in terms of off-road testing for the live tuning, and I know it's the fastest engine, so let's throw it up. Here is the full off-road build. That same 3.5 liter V6 engine, Ultimate Plus engine parts with the Ultimate Dual Turbo and the Ultimate 5x3 pound NOS. You've got this Super Rally suspension, Elite brakes, and Elite off-road tires, Elite Plus clutch, Elite 7-speed gearbox, and the Super Rally differential. I use the NOS refills and the NOS duration for my auxiliaries, and then the live tuning is the same actually as your drift build. You've got maximum steering sensitivity, so +5, and minimum downforce, which is -4 or -5 on the downforce. Traction control off, drift style on gas. That is it. That is the off-road build. Let's go ahead and summarize this car. Let's talk about what it is good at and what it is bad at. All right, I just want to start by saying I really like this car. I love that it's fast on the track, except for it just doesn't turn well. I love that it's fast in the dirt, except for it just doesn't turn well. I love that it's actually okay on the drag. It's like not super fast, but it's okay. It actually, if you go like a really long drag, like a half a mile or even like maybe 3/4 of a mile or even longer, the longer you go, the faster this car will be. So take that however you want to take it. Anyway, the thing that is very, very good, I'm talking like top tier on this car, is the drifting. It is very, very good at drifting. It is one of my favorite drift cars that I've ever tested. It feels phenomenal. I almost beat my high score, which is 89,000 on that drift that's like, you know, right outside the racetrack there. This car is very good at drifting, and I 100% recommend this to new players as well, because it doesn't take a ton of skill to control this. Now, the build I gave you for drifting is actually for an automatic setup. If you're using a manual gearbox, you can probably still use it, but there might be a little tweaks that you might want to make. You might want to add a few more speed cross parts, like speed cross tires or speed cross differential, but just play with it. The build I gave you is perfect for automatic. It is perfect for newer drifters that don't understand drifting in the game. It is unlike anything else. This is a drift car 100%. Now, it's fun to race because it does have good top speed, but it's just not fast enough. It's not quick enough from a start, is very, very slow in the start, and it's not the best at cornering. If it was a better cornering car, this could compete for like top 10, top 5 in the game, but it's just not there. So that being said, I just want you to build this as a drift car and use it like that. It is amazing. Also, I just want to shout out to Surfy, OMG Surfy, for the wrap. This thing is absolutely amazing. I love it. It has my logo on it. He built it directly for me. I'm in love with it. So I appreciate it, Mr. OMG Surfy. If you see one of his wraps in the community section on Xbox, download it and follow him for all of his other wraps. The guy's amazing, and this is, once again, he killed it with the wrap. Alright guys, that's it for this video. If you have any questions about this, you're welcome to DM me. My socials are on the screen. I look at every single message, and that is not a joke. I'm still, to this day, looking at every single DM that I get. It may take me a little time to respond, but I do look at them, and I do try to help every single message, every question that comes my way. Keep in mind, if you're watching this now, if you're at this point in the video and you're watching this, you're a dedicated fan, and you already know this, but I'm going to say it again. We have a stream coming up on Saturday, July 3rd, and that is our 4th of July. I know it's a day early. 4th of July stream. Please come out to that. You can race with me. We're going to be filling lobbies from chat. It's 6 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. California time on Saturday, this coming Saturday, which is in just a couple of days. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Shout out to all the Militia subs. I appreciate it. I will catch you on the next one. Trigger out.